How comfortable are you with the roles you need to take over while you set your business or you boost your professional career? How easy is it for you to do some things like talking to the social media, having a presentation in front of a public, or uh, negotiating with colleagues and providers in order to achieve the best prices and the best options for your business? There are a lot of things that you really love doing in order to set up your business. For example, my favorite example, producing your own skirts. You know how to design them, you know how to fabricate them, and it's sometimes a little bit difficult for you to market them and to provide them to the community. So there are some favorable roles in this whole business project and this whole business unit of activities, but at the same time there are some other things, well, you're not so hot with them. And how are you going to make it? A lot of people actually, while they realize that they don't feel like doing one part of the job, they are not feeling comfortable with one role, for example, presenting your idea in front of a public, this thing just totally discourages them, and they, instead of working in order to solve it, they just quit. They just say, I cannot do it, I'm sorry, I will not proceed. And they just stop moving towards their dream. There are some other people, though, that they say, okay, I will start with the things I know I can do, and I will find out ways to solve the others and feel better acquainted with the other parts of my job. And this is a healthy solution, a sound solution if you're interested in undertaking a business, setting up your own business, or setting up your career, boosting your professional career, no matter what that is. There is always something that we don't like. We are not omniscient and we are not omnipotent. So there are things we cannot do as easily as some others. So stick with those you know the best, what these things are. You know how to design your skirt, you know how to choose the best materials in order to make it, that's great. And then let's find out the solutions, the sound, robust solutions for the other things that you are not so eager to do, that you feel they are not the best experiences for you, you don't have the best skills for them. There are two things here. Either you start learning, dealing with these things, with these roles, and how you do that by just practicing. For example, in order to speak in the public, you need to practice. I remember when I had my first presentation at the university, well, I was feeling awkward. It's not the word that will actually describe it. I think it was overwhelming. Totally. So my professor just said to me, you know, there is only one way to overcome this. And say, what's that? And she told me, practice, 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 and practice. And that's what we did for an entire year in order to prepare me for presenting my work for a big conference. I was just having 15 minutes at every one of her courses, and I was presenting my work to people of different levels of academia. It was overwhelming at first, but then I started feeling that it's okay, I can do it, I can manage. And I still do that. Whenever something frightens me, I just need to practice. When you practice, you get acquainted with the situation. You just familiarize yourself with the whole thing, the whole idea. You know what is something that you're afraid, and automatically your brain finds a way to cope with that and actually finds from all the skills you have, all the repertoire of skills that you already have, and they're innate and almost automatic in you, the brain finds ways to deal and use the best of your skills to solve the problem. When you feel awkwardly with the situation, that identifies as a problem for your brain. So the brain, who is your servant and wants to provide you with the best service, always find the best solutions for you. the thing is that you need to expose yourself to the problem. So to provide the opportunity to your brain and those amazing skills you have to start applying different solutions in order to find the recipe that really works for you. In order to do that, you need exposure to the situation, and that means also practice. You practice, you practice, you practice. You practice working with your Instagram account if you think that social media is the solution for your business. You practice with your Facebook account. You practice with your presentations. You practice with your designing the skirt. You practice with discussing with your collaborators, with your teamwork about the new project. If you want to learn how to negotiate with them, find out what ideas work the best, but you need to expose yourself to discussion. You practice with communicating with a lot of people if you feel that you are frightened of communicating with people. Little by little, one by one, you start discussing with them 1 hour, then a second hour, a third hour, and then you start realizing that you already have experience on that matter, and your brain has already provided you with very nice solutions to deal with the situation. Just you need to expose yourself, and that means daring. That means you have the courage to present yourself in front of the situation and say, now I'm going to deal with this. That's the first solution. But there is also another solution, is that if you really cannot do something, really cannot do that, and not because you avoid it, but because it's not the good time for you to start learning it. For example, you're not an IT and you don't know how to handle IT matters for your computer system, for your web system, for your e-shop. Well, you outsource those things. So you outsource the work that you are not educated to do. But see a little bit the distinction between those two solutions. The first one is for things that actually you will be asked eventually to do. Eventually, if you're a successful business person, you will be asked to present your ideas in front of the public. You cannot hide forever. But for the IT solution is that if you cannot do it, that's okay. But even here, you really need to understand at least the basic ideas of the IT work in order to be able to communicate with your IT person and say what are the necessities you need for your work, and to understand how that person works for your own business and how he or she can provide help for you. So in any case, you need to understand that maybe there are some roles in your business you don't feel like doing them, but you really need, at least at a very basic level, to be acquainted with them. And the only way to do that is not postponing to do that, but go there and expose yourself. If you need, you ask someone to do that with you, to help you, to guide you, to mentor you. A success coach does a lot of that part. We guide you how to start exposing yourself in order to get those skills and start feeling more comfortable with these different roles that you will be eventually asked to take while you set your business and while you want to really make it happen successfully. Okay, so send me an email, claim your own free coaching session with Panagiota, that's me, and find out which are the roles with which you feel comfortable, and find out which are the roles you feel not so comfortable with right now. And let's develop those roles. Let's develop the skills that will support these roles, and you start enjoying your business setup and your business success.